Hey guys, I have something really cool this week. I've interviewed Emily Halberstadt. She is a Vancouver sound designer. She works for A Shell in the Pit on various game audio projects, does sound design for many other projects. One of those is the sound design for the slow motion video for the channel SmarterEveryday. This video is the interview where I'm talking with her about Reaper and sound design and field recording, game audio, lots of cool stuff in this video. And in a couple of days, I will have a video on how she does the super slow motion sound effects for the SmarterEveryday channel. It was so much fun talking to Emily this week. It's so nice to have another person here in the home studio. And I want to do these interviews more often. I want to do them better though. I need better lighting. I'm set up for filming with one camera. We had two cameras. I don't have enough of what I need to get it done right. So if you guys want to help out with that, you can send a donation. You can become a patron on Patreon. It will really, really help. Okay, enjoy my interview with Emily Halberstadt. So how did you get started in sound design or working in audio?
I got started in sound through a program called New Media at Ryerson in Toronto. And the whole program was we had to put together installations and make them interactive. And I kind of just started experimenting with sound and making soundscapes, like long, looping, experiential soundscapes. And then when I graduated, I went into video editing, and I've always liked editing. And then wasn't exactly what I wanted, and VFS had a scholarship competition, and I entered that, and then kind of fell in love with the idea of interactive audio in games.
Cool. Did you win this scholarship?
Yeah, I don't know if I won. I got like a partial scholarship, so yeah, I think there was some full ones, but yeah, it was still enough to help because VFS is insane.
So where do you work from now? Or do you work from home? You have a home studio?
I do. I work from my bedroom, and I have I have kind of, my room is in an L, and I have this homemade recording fort, I like to call it. It's not even like a stand-up booth. I got these free sound boxes someone had made for their studio, okay. And I just kind of like put them in a fort, and then like there's a sheet over it. It's quite lovely.
For recording?
Yeah.
You do a lot of field recording to...
I do. Field recording is one of my favorite things. I just like to go, into the mountains. I live in East Van, so pretty close.
You were doing a lot of sounds for Parkitect recently, right?
Yeah.
So you went on some field trips for that.
Oh, yeah. I went. I got to go to the Playland for Parkitect, which was pretty awesome. I went with Chris Tamick, and we were kind of sneaking around with our record. We didn't know if we were allowed, and kind of like bringing it on the rides. And just getting as far away from all the crowds as possible.
Going on the kiddie train ride like 7 times.
Yeah. All the kids' rides were the best. The adult ones were often just spinny and hard to kind of get close to the motor, but...
There's lots of music in those rides.
And that, yeah. There was a lot of music everywhere.
So you recently switched from Pro Tools to Reaper. How long did it take you to get up and running?
To get up and running, it took about a day. I had a lot of help again from Chris, and he had a configuration that was very close to Pro Tools. I modified it a little bit, but I think I was really intimidated to start with Reaper because I tried to just jump in without kind of setting it up properly a few times, and yeah. that kind of like really throws you off. But as soon as you spend that, I went through the David Farmer tutorials, and as soon as you spend it wasn't even a full day, and just kind of make sure everything's going to the right places, and your shortcuts are what you're used to. It really helped. I was actually really surprised at how quickly I was able to just start using it. And like the second day, I was already faster than I was in Pro Tools.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people are really intimidated.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a deep program. There's so much you can do with it, and so much customization. But it's really just once you get started working on a project, it's like it all clicks.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the customization kind of threw me off because it made me feel like I had to be good at programming, or
Yeah.
you know, I liked doing that technical kind of stuff, but I'm not a technical person. But yeah, you don't need to do all of that.
No.
It's like whatever you want to do with it, you can do, and it can be really simple.
Yeah, it's totally usable as is, but it has so much power in
Yeah.
making it your own.
Yeah, totally. I need to explore that a little more still.
Any advice for someone that's new to Reaper, coming from another DAW, or in the field of sound design?
Starting by watching video tutorials was great for me. I'm not so good at just like figuring stuff out on my own if I have something to follow. So you mean your blog or the David Farmer ones, and then I think just spending that time to set it up properly before you try to edit in it. Like, don't just open it and expect to have everything working.
Yeah, there's like 10 different things that would totally confuse myself with a brand new installation of Reaper. So like, it's totally understandable that people have trouble with it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I had tons of trouble just learning Pro Tools as well.
Yeah.
And I had a year to learn it at school in a very formal way. And I hated Pro Tools the first time I used it as well. But you know, it kind of made sense.
Yeah.
But there's so many limitations. I don't want to get on. I know you don't want to get on a rant about Pro Tools either. But,
I could.
yeah. What is your equipment for doing field recording?
For field recording, I have an H5. For the longest time, I just used a pair of binaurals, CSEM Roland, and I love them very much. And I use them for ambiances a lot. I still need to get one of those recording heads though, because I put them in my ears and then I have to like be extremely still and hold my breath and like not move at all. And then I just use my studio condenser. There's a stereo pair, and those were more recent though, but yeah, that's about it.
And you basically do all your recording with that setup?
I go through an interface at home, but in the field, yeah.
Is there any accessories or little essentials that you wouldn't think you'd need for field recording, but you always bring with you? Like Swiss Army knife or...
Yeah, like stuff that I don't always use.
Yeah, but you know, this emergency stuff, like what's in your pockets when you're...
I always bring duct tape. Yeah. Bring duct tape everywhere. I brought that to the amusement park. And elastic bands, a lot of extra batteries. I think that's it. I don't bring too much. Like to kind of go lightweight.
Less stuff to rattle around when you're walking.
Yeah, that too. But the duct tape is essential.
When you're doing sound design in Reaper, is there any third-party effects that you're using?
My two favorites are Fog Convolver and just kind of experimenting with that one too. They have a lot of, like, not just impulse responses. You can just put random sounds in there. And Isotopes Delay. I use that for very wide variety of things. Pretty much anything that's not organic, just put that on. And Contact too.
Cool.
But I don't actually use effects too much. I'm not, like, I don't use synthesis a lot, and I just kind of edit. If I have to do something sci-fi, I edit for it instead of...
Lots of layers.
Yeah.
Lots of stretching.
Yeah, exactly. Lots of reversing and stretching and all that kind of stuff.
Basics.
Yeah. Yeah.
The essentials, yeah. What would you be doing if you weren't doing sound design right now?
I'd like to think I'd be doing stuff in games because I've recently discovered this passion for them. So yeah, I eventually, like, you know, writing for games and that kind of stuff.
Cool.
Pretty much, I've always just done all the creative things. I never really knew what I wanted to do before, so it would probably be a mishmash.
What games are you playing these days?
Well, I just finished Oxenfree, which, have you played that one?
Not yet.
It's amazing. I love it. I usually just do story-based platformers. Those are my favorites. My next one, Inside. I need to I need to play Inside. And I've been playing some Star Wars with my roommate.
Cool. This
Yeah.
Star Wars
Battlefront,
Battlefront. Yeah. Okay. Or it's either that one or the Lego one.
Yeah.
So. My roommates are a little different than yours.
Yeah.
What's the best sound ever?
Yeah, I like that question. My favorite sound of all time is bird wings, like birds flapping away or flying or whatever. The other two that I kind of put in everything are, I have this little meditation bell from Tibet. It's called a tingsha. It makes a C sharp, very beautiful sound, and it just echoes on forever. And the other one is I really love those whirly tubes. Have you ever seen those?
Like a vacuum hose?
Yeah,
corrugated
you just whirl it around.
Yeah, I love those too.
Yeah, so I put that in a lot of stuff.
Cool. What do you think of Wilhelm? Overused?
I kind of like it. I think it's funny.
Yeah.
I don't. It doesn't bother me. I don't get annoyed, as most people seem to.
All right.
Yeah, I like the idea.
Cool.
I mean, it's silly, but I think that's okay.
What is an overused sound then? If not Wilhelm?
If not Wilhelm.
There's some sounds that don't make any sense. Like when you walk up to a podium, it's not going to start feeding back
Yeah.
instantly, but it always does in every TV show and movie.
Yeah, stuff like that. And I mean, I guess like the stereotypical layers to use, if you're in a monster, you use a pig.
Yeah.
It's a little bit boring.
A lot of stuff starts to sound the same once you learn the tricks. And
There's only so far you can go with, like, if you use the same sound that everyone else uses. So it's cool to experiment as much as possible. All the animals in your voice.
Yeah. Yeah.
I use my voice for a lot of sound design. That's kind of like one of my first questions is, can I make this with my voice?
Cool. Yeah, there's a lot like Luca. He does the
comedic sound design.
design. He does everything with his voice.
Yeah, I do a lot of creepy stuff with my voice too. I'm working on Night in the Woods right now, and for a lot of ambiences, I'll just like make a low gravelly sound for a really long time, and then pitch it down a lot.
Cool.
And the cars too. There's these cars going by, and that's just my throat making a weird sound.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun.
Do you have a sample library?
Yeah, I have a lot of libraries. Most of my stuff, if I'm not recording it, I'm just gonna look to edit it together. So,
Or any libraries that you'd recommend people start out with?
for starters, I think the Boom ones are pretty good. The Magic Library, that was one of my first ones that I bought, and it has like such a wide variety that I found it could do a lot of things. And then the Hiss and Roar, we just got a lot of Hiss and Roar, and it's pretty great.
Do you share a library with Gord?
Yeah, and then we share our kind of personal recordings too. He has a lot of a big personal library too. I've been trying to build mine for even before I knew what to do in sound at all. I got an H4n, and I was just walking into restaurants and recording, even though they had music playing, and like just recording all these things that I probably would never be able to use now, but
Yeah.
it was a good practice.
I try to do that kind of stuff, but I never end up editing it.
Yeah.
So like that's the hard part, like, actually going in, editing it, tagging it, and all that kind of stuff. Are there any tricks you have just for keeping organized with?
I don't actually edit mine too much either, unless I edit it like as I need it.
Yeah.
And then I can save that smaller file. But definitely when recording Slate, I've gone back to so many recordings and not been able to figure out what it was. Because it's just like this obscure kind of quiet sound, and it was a long time ago and I don't remember. So slating, and then once also not leaving something on your card for too long, putting it on your computer right away, and then naming it right away. I think naming it is the most important thing, and kind of having like a concise naming scheme with keywords so that even if it's not edited, at least you can just search what it was and it'll pop up. I think that's really important to do, though. It took me a long time to learn that.
Just being diligent with that kind of stuff, yeah.
It's like really easy to just let things pile up on your recorder.
Yeah. I know I've got stuff from like 5 years ago. Like I spent a day recording and then I never ended up using it or editing it.
Yeah.
It was really important at the time, but I never needed it. So I just never edited it.
Yeah, or sometimes if you need something really fast, you just like grab it without naming it and edit it, and then it's forgotten.
Yeah, there's lots of stuff you could pull out of old projects that you forget to like actually archive into your library because you're just using it right away and trying to move quickly.
That's the same, actually, even if you're not field recording. Like I do a lot of Foley for my sound design, with like fruits or something. And once I record, I don't know, for 5 minutes, same thing. As soon as it's in my session, I save it out to my library folder with proper names and then continue to do like what I was gonna do with it.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think we should probably wrap up. Awesome talking to you.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. And let's get into that other demo.
Yes.
Thanks for watching the video. Give this video a like or a comment if you want to see more interviews on this channel. Subscribe, be a patron, and visit the website reaperblog.net.